Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem video. This is a postmortem of my Blitz chess game number 65, where I was black and my opponent played the Stonewall attack. So let's check it out. D4, knight f6, and e3. So at here, you don't know what your opponent is playing. Could be going for a call system with the pawn triangle, or it could be trying a reverse Stonewall, or Stonewall attack as it's called. And this f4 move is a characteristic move of the Stonewall here. Let's take a brief look at the opening book. So e3 already is a rare move. d5 is the most common response. Bishop d3, not as common as knight f3. But you don't want to play, if you're playing the Stonewall, you don't want to put your knight on f3. It'll block the f-pawn, which is your idea. And so after knight bd7, we're pretty much out of the book. It looks like knight c6 is the most common move here, followed by c5. And they both have their points of going after the center. I don't like to block in the c-pawn with knight c6 myself, so knight bd7 also supports the idea of c5 later. And then he follows up with f4, and then I play c5 here. Okay, and we're out of the book. And Peter thinks this is pretty much an even game, and stays that way for a while. I'm playing g6 to stop this f4 push. Just to give you some idea about the Stonewall attack, a lot of times the idea is white will castle, and then his rook will come from f1 to f3 to h3 and just simply attack on the king side. And a lot of times this f-pawn will push ahead to f5 and undermine the center here. If there's a pawn on e6, it can attack that and bring white's pieces forward. So anyway, it's a good game. This is a solid defensive structure here, kind of blocks up the center and allows for this kingside attack. And the only downside is really this bishop on c1, which is blocked in by the pawns. But even so, it can sometimes maneuver around and get into the game on this side, or if you push the b pawn, it can come out on this side. So it usually joins the game eventually too. So it's an interesting way to play. It's not considered maybe suitable for top level chess, but leads to some interesting games, and it's quite playable. So g6 to slow down this f5 push, and we just develop our pieces pretty normally here. See, he's got his rook already on the f file. He needs to get the knight out of the way. Sometimes the knight will go to a different square, like h3, and then to g5 to allow the knight to the rook to come out rather on f3. But he's going for the center. That's another way to play it. And I oppose bishops. So this light squared bishop is really a strong piece in this setup, and so I want to trade it off. And he wants to avoid trading, so he plays c4. And I see that by exchanging pawns, I can create a isolated queen's pawn for white, and so I take the time to do that, and then I play this move rook c8. So rook c8 is a mistake. How do you punish this mistake? This is your first tactical quiz in this game. White's turn to move. What's the best move? Okay, pause the video if you want more time. This is a pretty simple one, actually. The rook move, rook c8, undefended the bishop, and so you can take advantage of that by playing knight d6 check. And it doesn't win material, it just kind of improves white's position. It forces me to take the knight, and then white gets rid of my light squared bishop, and so now he has the bishop pair, and he also has a lot of space here. So this is just a good position for white. I haven't castled yet, so he's got an advantage in development too. So anyway, that would be the best way for white to play. And as a sign I wasn't playing particularly well when I play a move like rook c8, leave my bishop undefended without even pausing to think about the discovered attack there. So anyway, he plays b3 instead, defending the knight. And I reposition my bishop. I just realized after I'd made the move that I needed to get my bishop off that square. So the game continues here for a little bit. And this move, g4, is a mistake. It just weakens his king side too much. And I find the right way to punish it, at least at first. I take the knight, and then this pawn is defended by the queen, But I can throw in an intermediate move, which I do, queen c6, threatening the immediate checkmate. And he has to respond to that. And if he blocks with the queen, I can trade off and then grab this pawn. So he tries this move. Oh, but I wanted to back up and show you one other idea here the computer thought was even better than queen c6, which is this move, bishop, let me make sure I do that right, bishop h6. And if he takes the knight, then you can play the bishop here, check. And you look at this, the king is nearly mated. So he has to block with the rook. And after queen c6, I think he's in big trouble. So there's two mate threats. The queen here is a checkmate, and queen there is a checkmate because the rook is pinned. So anyway, he's going to lose some material here in this scenario. So that would have been an interesting way to play. But I played the immediate queen c6, which is still good, and I've got an advantage through here. So he plays the knight up to block the mate threats, and then I can grab this pawn on g4. So far so good. Let's see what's going on here. Bishop c1, yeah, he's trying to defend against the threat of knight to e3, forking the king and the bishop. And I defend my knight. I realized my knight was loose here, although his knight is pinned, so there's no immediate threat, but eventually this knight could move and then there'd be a discovered attack on my knight. So I played this move h5, but that was a mistake, and there's a couple of moves here that are good for black. And you might want to pause. This is a good, it's not an outright tactic. This is just a good position to study your attacking skills. How do you continue the attack? You've already got an advantage. You've won pawn in front of White's king, and what's the best way to continue the attack? And there's a couple different ideas, so you don't have to focus on any one idea. So anyway, if you want time to study this position, pause the video and think about it for a while. There's a couple of moves that are good, like I said. One of them is the simple rook f to d8. Just attacking this pawn here, which is not defended because this knight is pinned. If a knight moves, there's checkmate. And it's just getting more force. This is just your typical develop your pieces with threats kind of idea. And the other idea, which could be played here or could be played first, is bishop takes e5. Another variation. And the idea is if he takes back, well, he can't take with the knight. If he takes back with the pawn, you take with the knight, and you're again threatening to eliminate this piece, which is pinned here. And so black is in big trouble. Oh, White is in big trouble in this position. So there's a couple of good attacking continuations. Instead, I played the weak move h5. And while I still have the advantage, it's just not what it was. Oh, and here, I just absolutely blunder and overlook the fact that I could take that knight. That's a hanging knight there after rook e1. So obviously I wasn't in great form here. I came up with this rook f d8 idea just a move too late. And I had noticed that this pawn was not really defended. And so, but he has time to take care of things. The rook enables this bishop move here. And so now he can exchange off my attacking bishop. And even though I still have an advantage, the advantage has declined by quite a bit. And one more idea here. Yeah, it's here. After h3, instead of retreating the knight, I could continue the attack with rook to c3. And it's basically a trade because the queen was on that knight already. So rook takes knight, pawn takes knight, rook takes knight. And now I'm threatening a check on the king, and the queen is threatening to come in on this diagonal. So he has to oppose that. And then you can drop the rook back here to the f4 square, and it's attacking both of these pawns. And this pawn would go with check and also give the queen a chance to get in. So he will defend this pawn, and then you can grab this pawn and just have an extra pawn and two extra pawns and control of the center. So you'd be in excellent shape once again. So h3, I played knight h6, and he gets to trade off some more of my attacking pieces. So I'm still winning here. I don't lose until later. But I'm just missing these opportunities to win more easily. So knight h4 maybe wasn't precise, but it is creating pressure here. It's just that I have this knight rook g5 defense is pretty good. He gets the king out of the way. Bring my queen on. He attacks, so I decide to shut down the attack on the on my g6 pawn from the queen and the knight. If I just let him trade, then this pawn is undefended. So I decide to block the attack from the queen by playing f5. He retreats his knight and attacks my rook. So I go ahead and trade off rooks and then grab this pawn. And now he plays the move knight e5. So all throughout this, I've still had an advantage. But my next move gives away the advantage, and then white is winning after that. And so this is a test of your defensive skills. It's black's turn to move. What's the best move? And you have to recognize, he's black, even though he has the advantage, he's now come under pressure. White has got some counterplay going. He's got some threats going. And what's the best way to defend? And if you haven't thought of the answer yet, pause the video and think about it some. I'm going to give it away. The answer, the way to save the game for black is to play g5. It's just defended by the bishop there, and just stops that attack. What I played was I just did not see that move for some reason in the game, and I didn't see any way to defend the g6 pawn. And in fact, there's no piece that can defend it. The queen and the king are already doing their best to defend it. The bishop can't because it's the wrong color, and the rook can't because if it comes here, it gets taken by the knight, and if it comes here, it's blocked by the king. So really, pushing the pawn was the only option here. I just tried to get my pieces active here, and but giving up two pieces and a pawn for the giving up my queen and a pawn for two pieces is not a good trade, and this is just winning for white all through here. And he had some faster wins too, but he never lets go of the win. I never had a chance to get back in the game, really. I was just trying to get something going with the pawns. Oops, let's play through it at least. Let's see, yeah. And but he's doing what you do when you have the queen against two pieces. You've got lots of checks, and just take advantage of those, and you look for forking opportunities. Like here, he could play queen to c5 check and pick up the rook. Instead, he missed that one, but doesn't matter because he's still winning. And I keep pushing my pawns. I have this vague idea. There is a mate threat here, so he can't let my king get too close. But he manages to keep me at bay. And at this point, I forfeited on time, but I'm clearly losing, and the computer rates this as +10 for white. So anyway, interesting game. Maybe I can't really say it was a good game, but it had some points. And hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave any comments you have in the section below, and I'll see you later. Bye.